What's going on? This is Coach for Live Fitness. I want to talk to you about something very, very serious, something that is very sneaky, that works its way into your mind, into your environment, that has been working on it for such a long time, and it is so camouflaged that you just don't even know, right? It's an energy drainer that will distract you, it will affect you, it will keep you from focusing on you and on your goals and on your fitness and your health and your performance. So, and what this is it's clutter, and it is the physical and the mental clutter that we see, that we feel internally, externally, every day, and it is sabotaging your fitness goals. All right, so we don't even know that it's there. It's taking that long, and it's in your car, it's in your office, it's in your home, it's in your garage, it's everywhere in your home office. It's everywhere that is around you, and it will distract you. Right? And you have to step over it, you have to move past it, you have to dust over it, right? And it's just there. And it takes up space that should be used for other things, right? Like it should be taking up space that could simply be emptied and kind of provide a space of serenity, right? And the reason why this is so important is because a clear mind needs to have a clear, focused environment. If you're like me, then it's very, very obvious that a cluttered and dirty environment will literally affect me. I cannot, or I struggle to sit and focus on the work that I have on hand, particularly if I'm in the kitchen. What has to happen first is the dishes need to be put away. There needs to be space. I can have room, etc. If I'm typing on my computer and working on work stuff, I've got to have these clear space, right? So it directly affects me and my progress, my success. And so what happens is it leaves less energy for me to focus on my goals. It leaves less energy because it's always demanding to be dealt with, right? And so you have less energy to really be focusing on your health and your performance, and less energy to be focusing on living, on loving, and on the really important things that we have in life. So your physical clutter, that is the stuff around you. And your mental clutter, of course, is the patterns of your thinking, the habits, the gremlins that we've talked about in the past, reacting to yourself and others in every everyday circumstances, right? Like stuff that you're doing throughout the day. It's typically kind of under the radar. Again, you just don't understand that it's there. You don't see it there, and it's very self-defeating. These thoughts that come in, these behaviors that you have with certain people. If you act a different way with one group versus the way that you act when you're by yourself, these habitual ways of reacting to certain situations. For example, on a stressed out day when my kids start crying and I have a certain way that I act and I'm not proud of, and I have to step away from that situation. Not that they are clutter, but that is a behavior that I exhibit that distracts me and my soul, or my main purpose when I'm with my kids, right? And it just kind of runs, right? Like it's just on autopilot. You don't see it. And the problem with it is if you don't see it is that you're not really conscious, and you're not able to change it, right? If it's just running blindly, right? And when you don't see it, you don't see the other alternatives to it either, right? Like the other options that are there. So how do you fix these problems, this clutter, the physical clutter, the mental clutter? All right. First and foremost, with your physical, it's pretty simple on that aspect. You just have to do it. You've got to look around and you got to assess what you keep around you, and is it worth keeping it around you? Does it, where you live, where you work, pick up things and physically touch it, because so much gets into our lives and just kind of sits there and it's just no longer important. So really assess what you have around you, and does it enrich your life, or does it just kind of be there? And if it's just there, is it really important? Is it something that you really need to have as a distraction, which ultimately it is, all right? as you're going around assessing it, what are these things? What is the purpose behind it? What is its function? What do I use it for? And does it help me? Will it be beneficial to someone else if I give it up? All right? Is it just trash? Is it something I don't need? Is it something I can get rid of? All right? And then having kind of an objective resource and a fresh perspective come in, like a friend that comes in and says, yeah, literally, like that chair there is just sitting there. You don't ever use it. Just get rid of that chair, right? Open up your space and have more area to move around, right? And then, of course, this happened to me just last night. We acquired a bunch of glasses and plates that I think are really ugly. We won't use, and it's just going to take up space, so we need to get rid of it, right? So think about things before you acquire it, right? Because it will affect your environment in one manner or another. But the mental clutter is something that I struggle with daily myself. And I think this is something that a lot of us do. So you're not alone if this is you. And one of the biggest keys to it is to become aware of your mental clutter as well. So when you feel yourself exhibiting these behaviors, when you feel yourself getting into these situations, when you feel yourself stepping over that line that you don't want to be crossing, first stop, right? Slow down, take a break, and assess the situation, right? We have a saying in the fitness industry, if you're not assessing, you're guessing. And that's why we're so passionate about the way that you move, what you do, how it's performed. Because if you're not assessing, you're guessing, right? You need to assess what's going on in the environment around you. You need to assess what's going on in your mind. How you do that is, again, does it enrich my life? These thoughts, or these behaviors, does it help me? Does it benefit me? Does it benefit others? Do I have other options? What are my alternatives? Right? I'm hanging out with this person right here, and I don't think that it's a very good influence. Maybe now, maybe just not right now, maybe not ever. Right? So what do I need to do in order to cut out this situation? Do I have other options? I can go away, I can go home, go do something else for a little bit, maybe come back, see how things are going. Maybe they're just in a bad mood and that negativity is feeding into my life. Or maybe they're just a negative person. All right, maybe I don't need that in my life. You know, I appreciate them, but maybe I need to intervene and talk to them a little bit. Or maybe I need to help them. Or maybe I just need to distance myself entirely. Right? So, do you have other options? What are those options, right? And I think something that's also very, very common when we lose consciousness, when we're not aware, consciously aware of what's going on, that's where reminders, alarms are really, really popular, right? Or work really, really well. Hey, wake up. Well, there's a perfect alarm right there. But what about, hey, it's 10 a.m., I should probably have some protein, or I should probably have a snack, or I should probably go out and take a walk because I've been sitting for the last 3 hours, right? Of course, that is also just as bad as anything else out there. If I've been sitting down for 3 hours and not moving, not getting out of my chair, that needs to change, right? Even if it's just for 5 minutes. So along those lines, excuse me, what are your routines? What are your routines? And like plan out or reflect on what you do. Bedtime, morning time, noon time, right? What do you do in the afternoon? What do you do late afternoon? Do you eat stuff? Do you find yourself snacking a lot? If you hang out the break room a lot, what's going on there? Do you spend a lot of time on Facebook? Is that something you can give up? That time could be better spent somewhere else? I absolutely could, right? And so I have to limit the time that I'm consciously working on stuff on Facebook, because I will find myself going to Cracked, or I'll find myself going into these other articles and just kind of working my way through and wasting an hour, right? So really, those are some major time wasters that is mental clutter in my life. And sometimes it's just a procrastination, right? Like we hop on Facebook because we don't want to deal with something. There's something kind of underlying that we really need to focus on at heart. And that's usually where procrastination kind of lies. Is there's something there that we don't want to do, right? For me, it's cold calling. I hate cold calling. Thankfully, I don't have to do that much anymore. All right? But cold calling or calling people, I just don't like being on the phone, frankly, right? And that's something that I often will procrastinate. How do you do that? How do you get past that? It's the gun to the head moment, right? If you had a gun to your head, and this is something that I used to preach a lot. I do it a lot less now, but if you had a gun to your head and said, all you have to do is call 5 people, would you do it? Probably, right? And so it's a gun to the head moment. You just have to do it. You have to take that action. Not because your life depends upon it, but because that's really what you need to do, right? You do what you do because that's what you do, right? And that's about as easy as that gets, right? You just have to do it. You have to exhibit that action. We all have stuff in our life we don't want to do, but we still do it. And we preach that to our kids all the time. I don't want to clean up my room. Well, too bad. You're going to have to clean up your room anyways. Well, the same goes for us, right? Too bad. You're going to have to eat better. I don't care that you don't like vegetables, or I don't care that you don't want to work out tomorrow. Like, that doesn't matter. You're going to have to. You're going to have to find a way to get motivated. You stop procrastinating on that, right? So these are some ways that you can get rid of all of this clutter and all these problems in your life, because being fit and being healthy requires this being intentional about your environment, being conscious about your environment, about your schedule, about your relationships, about the things going on in your life. You have to be aware of that. It's Coach with Live Fitness.